Honey Boy up because he's one of those people that normally come up to crash out solid, and I didn't give him the opportunity to like do the weird stuff, and so I'm assuming that since he couldn't do the weird stuff, he made the decision to leave. Yeah. Chad, how are you?
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Chad. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Chad, can you tell me, and from your perspective, how does the United States of America work today?
In my opinion, the United States is a white supremacist, fascist, capitalist hellscape. I think that, for the most part, the United States is founded on settler colonialism, genocide, and
Stop spamming the all the information. You don't give them the high level. Don't give away all the goods yet.
Okay. Well, I would say that I think your panels are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes I have a little bit of trepidation because I think you associate with some people who are like I would say vehemently anti-communist, anti-socialist.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a little bit of to me, I would say historically, we have seen that liberals, for the most part, have collaborated with fascists to take down socialists and communists. Whether you can look at Nazi Germany, you can look at the Black Panther Party.
I kind of want to like this is the introduction.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Hawaiian Bear, can you tell the people how, in your opinion, how does the United States of America work today?
Well, it doesn't seem like that laws are being followed. We're breaking laws every day, and it's just I don't know. There's supposed to be a system to keep everybody in check, right? It's not working. It's not working because they should have checked Trump a long time ago. They don't check them. They're supposed to be check and balances. If someone goes crazy, someone's supposed to stop.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Perfect. Oh, sorry. 1 second here. All right. This is like I said, I feel like this is going to be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Hold on 1 second here. All right. So before we get going, I just want to remind people of a couple of different things. Guys, for the people on the panel, guys, please remember, use TikTok friendly language while we're having these conversations. Use words like pew pew, unalive, C19, mustache man, all of those things that protect not only your TikTok, but protects the live. So please be mindful of that. Also, be mindful, this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? That means that we don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism. We also don't do any of the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of that. We don't play that on the panel nor in the chat. Speaking of the chat, please do not use caps. Caps are for mods. It will draw my attention away from the panel and to the chat. And we definitely want to be able to focus in and have this conversation. But I need you guys doing all the wonderful things, right? Tap the screen, share the live. And we're at 44,000 likes. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 100,000 likes, please. Also, I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goals. It'll help boost the live and push us out to the FYP. And if you guys...
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible. Nina can't code. Interesting. Can it generate reports?
It can now.
Nice. So you're saying we can all build apps now?
Yeah.
I'm on lunch. I gotta make a call.
I'll be in my office.
Just built an inventory tracker. Protein calculator. Book sharing app.
A workflow manager that
tracks who still owes for the group lunch.
Trash duty schedule.
Since no one seems to care.
I just created a goal tracking system.
We built the same thing, didn't we?
Yep. Can this thing manage contacts?
Is the SOC 2 compliant?
I want to animate this graph. Create a party planner.
Profesor de Español.
An inter-office dating app. For dogs. For office dogs. You know what I mean?
AI is a risk to your business without the proper guardrails. N8N has them all built in. Keep an eye on your agents and step in if necessary. When you need to trust what you ship, we prefer a human in the loop to an agent on the loose.
Of how much we're able to raise. Solid has a GoFundMe. It's in his link tree. It's in my link tree. It's in Ari's link tree. It's in Swan, Petty. It's all over. So please, 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 we got it running in the poll. This is something that needs to happen. This is something that's absolutely amazing, and we need to put our energy, effort, and time behind it. So I will be tracking this throughout the night. If you guys want to actually add to that, just click the link and go to it. And there's multiple forms that you can actually make a donation. I will be tracking that throughout the night. So please, please, please make sure that we are doing that. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here with this conversation. And Solid, I want you to lay out what you got to say, but then I kind of wanted to go somewhere because of some of the stuff that was said, but I'm gonna defer to you. You're muted.
So, okay, I use structural functionalism when I talk about these topics. All right, the main topic is just how free and cheap labor forces are maintained through societal structures. Bigotry, misogyny, racism, xenophobia are all ways that the owning class use to maintain ethno-racial dominance and keep people in a permanent underclass or permanent servant class. I want to walk through some of the ways that tonight. I want to walk through some of the ways that happens. Okay, there's a sociologist named Loic Waquan who talks about the peculiar institutions. Talk about how patriarchy as a feudal holdover is there to relegate women and femmes to reproductive and domestic labor. But I'm very also interested in where you want to go, Santana.
Ooh. Both Earl and Hawaiian Bear said something interesting, and they were talking about, politics and how things aren't working the way that they should be working. And Solid, I disagree with them. I disagree. I think that the way that these systems are structured to function, structural functionalism, they're actually working perfectly. So I kind of wanted to talk about that, but I don't want to step on your toes.
Well, no, literally, we are talking about how the political system is working, right? Mm-hmm. All of this is designed to drive profit. Literally, the verisimilitude of choice between parties, the reformist version of like capitalism and things like that. Like they're all there to drive complacency, false consciousness. I'm using the big word. Okay.
No, you're good. Keep it going.
Okay. You got one group that wants to go full speed ahead, depleting the working class, depleting the workers of their value. They don't care if you drop unalived on your feet at work. They don't care. They just want that yum, 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 profit. Mm-hmm. You have another group of people that would like to see you live to make it to work the next day. They have no plan to liberate you. They have no plan to relieve you of your class struggle at all. They have no plan to, right? And so, but the theater of the battle between them, that there is we were talking about kayfabe the other night, right? Mm-hmm. The theater of the battle between the hero and the heel, right? Where folks will present themselves as your savior, the solution to all of these problems that the fascists are causing. The fascists, want the palingenetic ultranationalism. They want to raise everything to the ground so they can establish a fine cut, a clear cut, a staunch delineation of who's in charge. They don't want it to be up for question. They don't want to have to use the dog whistles. They don't want to have to use the veneer of obscurity in order to execute their dominance. They simply want to do it, right? And you have a people who position themselves as champions of the meek, champions of the weary working class. And so that struggle together, right, is made possible by these institutions of oppression in the first place. You have one group that is saying, right, I'm going to take your reproductive rights. And then you got the other group that goes, no, you shall not. We will stop you from taking the reproductive rights. The plot devices are literally maintenance of the subjugation of the working class.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The institutions themselves, the industrial prison complex, the industrial military complex, the hood, I'm sorry,
the ghetto.
The ghetto, things like de facto segregation, de jure segregation. These are the things. These are the things. I'm sorry, I see you, Chad. These are the actual things that are the actual maintenance of the class disparity, of the class struggle. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna come to you in a second, Chad. But before I do, Earl, I wanna actually come to you. So I know Solid said a lot. But Earl, I would actually like to know your thoughts because I'm gonna send you a request here. I think that a lot of people kind of struggle with the idea of what he just said. Because in a lot of times, especially when people vote along party lines with politics, they think that, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. And a lot of people see what's happening in the country today, and they think that it's like a really bad thing. And well, that's because of the Republicans. And I've said this more often than not, there's a rude awakening that a lot of people are starting to have where the perspective of Black people, we have seen and understood what this country is. And so it's never been a misunderstanding of good guys versus bad guys. It's just the perspective of who's doing what at what time. Earl, the question I have for you is, what do you think the actual difference is between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party?
Honestly, in 2016, I did vote for Trump because I thought it would be a nice refresh to have somebody in there that actually knew how to do business. Maybe he would clean house. Unfortunately, it didn't take me long to realize what a big mistake that was. And I think since the House and the Senate are controlled now by Republicans who won't stand up to him, things have gotten a lot worse. If they would do their job as sworn to do by the Constitution, then everything probably would have worked out a whole lot better. But they're letting him get away with anything.
Okay, so let me pause you for a second. So Earl, I want to get your perspective on this. My wife and I were having a conversation the other night, and we're talking about what has happened, right, since Trump has taken office. And would you say that there's been a lot of like rollbacks on rights and a lot of like things that we used to have that we no longer have as far as like civil liberties and things like that?
Of course.
Okay, perfect. How long has Trump been in office?
First time, 16 to 20?
No, just this term. Just this term.
Oh, a year and a half.
Okay. So let's talk about the things that were lost. I know personally, like a really big thing for the Black community has been the gutting of the Civil Rights Act, the Section 2, which comes to voting. Over the last couple of years, the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which gave women access to federal protections for abortion, and then also the subsidies for the ACA, which has kicked 17 million Americans off of healthcare, which is also shutting down a bunch of other facilities across the country in rural areas. Can we agree that those things have happened?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. How sustainable do you think any of those things actually were? If, like, we talk about the Voting Right Act, that's been in place since 1965. Roe has been in place for what, 30 some odd years, 50 some odd years, whatever. The ACA, it's been in place for years. How sustainable was any of that if one person could come in and overturn and upheave all of that within a year and a half?
Under that condition, it's not sustainable because everything was taken away from everybody.
Do you think it was sustainable when these actual things were put in place?
Yes.
Really? Okay. All right. Hold that thought just for a moment. Chad, coming to you. I know you said you had something you wanted to add on to what Solid was saying, and then I got a question for you as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think Solid's point makes sense. I think right now, I would argue we don't really even have like a party, like you mentioned, like the working class. So I would say we don't even really have a party for the working class. I think we have
really
right wing. Yeah, I think we have a right wing party and then a far right wing party, at least right now.
Oh, you're talking about in politics, not people.
Yeah, politics. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about people. I was about to say, okay, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
I'm talking about when we talk about politically from electoral perspective.
Yeah. Got it.
A right wing party and then a far right wing party, and I think that unfortunately, what we are seeing right now is what I would say the ratchet effect, where we have the Republicans going as far right as possible, trying to do everything in their power to strip rights of every marginalized group imaginable. And then you have the Democratic Party, basically the majority of them trying to prevent progress from moving further to the left. So they want to maintain a certain baseline status quo that reinforces the white supremacist hierarchy that we live under.
Okay. I got a question for you, Chad. So I just learned this not too long ago. But I learned more about the cycles of capitalism and how it has existed throughout the history of the world, and how it actually goes through these cycles, and each iteration, each new form, it flattens the class until we've gotten to where we are. And something that's super interesting is normally in capitalism, there's a need to keep the proletariat not just docile, but I guess you can say sustain them enough to drain them, right? To keep them here just enough to continue to exploit them, and to continue to not only coalesce social power, but also capital, right? But it seems like this version, what we're dealing with today, it seems like the ultra wealthy or the bourgeoisie, right? It seems like they are speed running like the normal process. Am I tripping? And if not, then why? Like, why drain a resource faster than necessary, knowing that well, I'm sure they have to know that what comes after this is revolution. So,
first I would say capitalism and fascism, to an extent, they complement one another, but eventually they become incompatible, because fascism, at least white supremacist fascism, cares a lot more about cultural hegemony and keeping certain like hierarchies in place, whereas capitalism
over
is about,
capitalism.
no, I would say capitalism is a vehicle for that, but eventually that those sort of systems sort of collide with one another, and eventually they combust. Which, I mean, you could say Yahtzee Germany is probably the biggest example of that, where you had private industries consolidate with the state, and the state be used as a means of suppression of different groups. Obviously, the Jewish community, Romani community, and other marginalized groups. And in fact, not the first, but the group of people that they went after the most were trade unionists, communists, and the socialists. So right now, what we're seeing in America is, you can say, the early parts before, like, the big bag thing that we're talking about. Like, you know what I'm talking about, the big bag thing.
Yeah.
And because Trump is a bumbling idiot, things are bad, but they're not like, I think a lot of Americans, because of our privilege, we don't understand how bad things really can get. Like, if Trump was like an actual ideological fascist, things would get a lot worse. Like, we probably wouldn't be able to be on live right now talking about this stuff. Like, that's why.
But
I think
does
the
it seem
Democrats,
like, because again, the part that I'm struggling with, like, I understand all of it. I just don't understand why it seems like they're speed running to get to the end.
Because at the end of the day, when fascism gets worse and worse, the ruling class capitalists still make money. They still are able to profit off of people suffering. I mean, in World War II, I mean, I'm sure folks who were making weapons were making crazy amounts of money. So they probably wanted the war. I mean, you could argue that's one of the main reasons why the United States got into the war. And I think now capitalism makes it so when you have a small number of people who consolidate a crazy amount of wealth, eventually and usually this is what happens. The proletariat can either choose fascism or they can choose socialism and communism. And unfortunately, because I would say in the 20th century, up until now, the proletariat, especially in Western societies, often chooses fascism because there's charismatic leaders, where you look at Mussolini, the mustache man, who preyed on those insecurities and told them the reason why you're poor is because of Jewish people, and it's because the West hates you, and thus that leads to mass atrocities. And so that's the same playbook we're seeing Trump doing now, which instead of saying the issue is capitalism, the billionaires, it's the trans person on Netflix, and it's your gay neighbor. So that's
stop
the
right,
issue.
stop right there, because you like freaking set me up perfect. Hold tight for a second. Solid. Coming back to you. Chad just like literally kicked the door open to where I think we should be, which is talking about those systems and how they weaponize bigotry in order to continue. So, Solid, he mentioned like the marginalized communities that are that are the victims of the system, right? Can you talk about that and tell us a little bit more about why that happens?
Yeah, the fascists are just really good at manufacturing consent, right? They sell the idea of superiority, the idea of valor, the idea of being on a winning team. I call them like Raiders fans, but they sell the idea of belonging to they sell identity and superiority to people as a consolation prize for being stolen from. Right. So, and this is the appeal here, because that's how you end up with class traders in the first place. That's how you end up with enforcers of those disparities in the first place, because they are literally, there's the idea of false consciousness. They're literally under the impression, and Chad said one of my favorite words, cultural hegemony. They're literally under the impression that maintaining the status quo is the righteous thing to do. that this is the best and only way it can work, and that they would themselves be heroes if they can maintain the status quo or regress to a time or push to a time
Most people using ChatGPT and Claude are leaving 80% of the value on the table. Here's how the top 1% of the users actually prompt. First, go into your Claude settings and add this custom instruction. Always critique your own answer after giving it. LLMs are notorious for telling you what you want to hear. This one change means you always get the full picture. Second, stop typing your prompts. Use Whisperflow to dictate them instead. In 20 seconds of talking, you'll give more detail, more context, and more nuance than you'd ever type out. Better input, way better output. Reid Hoffman, Mark Andreessen, some of the most prolific thinkers in tech, swear by this. Third, end any prompt with, before you answer, ask me any clarifying questions you need. With this instruction, ChatGPT will ask questions to get you the best possible output. When you speak your answers back with Whisperflow, the response you get after that is on a completely different level. You could use ChatGPT or Claude's built-in voice, but Flow is way faster, more accurate, and works everywhere you speak. Upgrade your prompting today and check out Whisperflow free.
I've got an idea for a business online, and I'll use Wix Harmony to make the website. Any site you can imagine. Famous in fur, an agency for animal pet fluencers. Make the site professional, strong, sleek, and green. The wildest animals on your digital screens. Oh, perfect! I've got full control here. Bet I'm gonna be rich. We rep zebras and monkeys and shirt-wearing bats. We rep kangaroos, antelopes, and hat-wearing cats. I'm the greatest CEO you've ever met. The greatest way to create on the internet. Wix Harmony!
Of the black soldiers from the 2nd 16th Infantry Battalion. He's looking to raise a total of $25,000 in order to make this film. And this film will be allow these black soldiers to have their voices heard. They are someones who were supposed to be looked at as heroes, but even as someone going into the military looking to quote unquote serve